going to double crochet 5 times again. So during this whole revolution you're going to jump over with a chaining of 3, and then you're going to put 5 double crochets into each one of the gaps. So continue that on your own, and we'll catch back up with you at the end of this revolution where we're going to make sure that you've done it right. Okay, so I've just chained my 3. I'm coming near the end, so I just want to double check. So going around the edge, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we got 6 so far, so that means that I'm safe. You're looking for a total of 8 gaps. So we're just going to continue to do our 5 in a row on the actual chain area there. And again, the 5 is very critical for your next point, because we've actually been working kind of in a circle. It's kind of looking like it's turning hexagonal, but it's the next revolution that you'll truly get it. So now let's count again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so then this gap here would be then 8. So we're going to finish it off with chaining of 3 to create that gap, and we're just going to slip stitch into the top of the other piece there, through and through, and that'll complete that revolution. So we got 2 more revolutions to go. If I can just get this off, we've got 2 more revolutions to go, and you can see it's almost like hexagonal, but it's more circular at this time. And now we're going to start really getting serious and creating this the octagonal shape. Now what we're going to do is we want the gap again to be in the starting point. So let's rotate our material just like so. And so the gap is right in front of us, so it's what we want right here. And now let's chain up our 3 again. So 1, 2, and 3. And now this is kind of opposite what we just done before. You know how we concentrated the 5 of putting into the gap? We're kind of going to do it backwards now. So this counts as one of the double crochet. We only want 2 now into each one. So 1 and 2. Okay, so there's 1 and 2, and now we're going to concentrate, and it's going to be in the middle of all of these sections around that's going to create the actual turn point. So let's grab our material and go into the very first stitch that's available. So let's double crochet, let's go into the second stitch and double crochet, and let's go into the third, and the third one is where we're going to make the turning point. So we just did 1 in there, let's chain 1. Okay, and let's go into that very same hole again, that very same stitch, and voila, you've just now created a bending in your material. So now you'll have 2 left over here. So you had 1, 2, and then this one was right in the center, and then you got 2 more left for a double crochet. Okay, so now you're back into the gap again, and we're only going to put 2, like we started in the very beginning. So 2, so 1 and 2 double crochets, and now you're back again to the next section. So 1 and 2, get a normal double crochet, and now the third one will get a double crochet. This is also typically called a V stitch as well. 1 chain and then into the same stitch, and that's creating a V, if you can see that. And now we're just going to finish off that section. So you'll have 2 normal, then the V, and then 2 normal. And now we're back to the next gap again, 2, and I'm going to show that one more time, and then I'll release you off, and we're going to go to the next revolution, which is our final. So let's go again. So the first one gets 1 double crochet, the second one gets 1 double crochet, and now the third one of it, which is directly in the center, will get a V stitch. So 1 double crochet, a chain, and another double crochet. So now you got your V, and now you got 2 more stitches left, so it's just a double crochet, and you're back to the gap. So keep repeating that. I'll catch you back up at the end of this revolution. We'll finalize it, and you can now start seeing that the actual octagon shape is taking effect. We're now coming close to the end of this revolution, and we just have this section here left to go. So what we need to pay attention to is our actual counting and where we started to compare to where we finished off. So this is the second one over. The third one will get a V stitch. So 1, chain 1, and back into it. And now this is what you're going to look at. So you can see here that when we chained up, we kind of came up, and it kind of looks like it's part of this area, but it's really truly not. And so just like we've been working in putting the stitches into the actual area here, this one here appears to be coming out of the last stitch, but you got to remember that it's not. So what you got to do is at the very last one, you just have to put 2 stitches into the same area. Okay, so this is where you chained up, so just go right in there and put the final one up there, because that here is supposed to be in the gap, if you understand. Okay, so now what we're going to do is then slip stitch, so go to the very top of this chain, just follow it up, going in, grabbing the material, pulling it through and through. So hopefully you understood that, because you got to, this chain is kind of like a pain, I know, but it's really critical that you get the right stitch count, because if you mess up on one of these sides, when you go to put these all together, it won't actually line up properly. So let's go on to your next. Well, this is the final revolution of my tutorial for this particular octagon, so we're just going to rotate and we're going to chain up 3. Now you will notice, if actually before I rotate it, you'll notice that the corner point is over here and the other corner point is over here, just like so. So this is actually, when you go to turn, you're actually in the half of a flat point, if you understand. So let's rotate this like I said before, rotate it around, and now let's chain up your 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and now going into the very next stitch available, which is right there. Do you see that? Going in, and we can verify that at the end of this revolution, because we want to make sure we're maintaining a stitch count. So you're going to put 1 double crochet across this line until we get to the V shape. So just go into the final one just before the V. So this is the last post before it turns into the V, going into that one. It's a normal double crochet. And now what we want to do is we want to form another V shape into that same V. So grabbing the material, I know that sounded complicated, grabbing the material, pulling it through, pull through 2 and 2, so that was 1. Now let's chain 1, because you're turning a corner and going back into that same gap area. So now this is where I want you to start keeping count. The magic number is 8. It should take you 8 stitches to get from here to the next V if you've done it right. So let's go. So this is considered 1. So 1 double crochet. I won't do that to you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and see, this is the final one. So just right before you go into the V, this is the 8. So you're going to have 8 stitches on every side, and it's important that you have the same stitch count on every side. Now we're going to go into the V. So there, chain 1, going into the V again, and now let's do another 8. So let's I'll just stick 8 more with you, so make sure you understood that. So it's 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and if we're right, yep, it is. So right on the last post. So I'm going to meet back up with you when we get back around, because it's going to look weird because you started in the middle of a flat spot. You got to make sure the stitch count stays the same. So let's continue that on your own, going into the V, and we'll catch back up with you in the end where we will finalize and cast off. So you can see I'm coming up to the final revolution here, and I want to show you what's going to happen when you actually get close and after the last V that you'll ever have to do on this. So let's get there in just a second. And you remember the magic number was 8. We already talked about that, so you have to keep that number in your mind. So as long as you can count to 8, you're good. So this is the V shape, so let's do your final V of this particular one. So let's chain 1 and back in. Now, what you need to pay attention to here is let's just do 1 extra in. So let's just start like as if you were going normal, and now what we want to do is kind of keep count. So if the magic number is 8, let's look to the next V coming up. So here's the next V. We don't count the one that was in there as being part of the 8. Okay, so just skip over to the next one. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we don't count the one that's in here, so this is 5. And now let's go 6, 7,